I wore a burkini, and I was so fly up there. So many people thought, well, how are you going to wear a burkini? How will the judges know that you're fit? And my personal trainer that I was working with, Scott, we were in agreement. Like, listen, the way I stand, the way I walk, the way I talk, you know I have abs. Like, you can see in my shoulders, in my posture, everything. Like, I'm just as fit and lean and mean as the rest of the girls in their bikinis. And I let everyone know a burkini and modesty, it does not hide a lack of hard work. It hides beauty. So there's beauty under here. I'm just as good as the rest of the girls. I just choose not to show it.
Assalamu alaikum. It's your brother Haq Islam. Welcome to this week's edition of The Oasis. Today we have a very special guest, MonaLesa Brackett, and I'm going to read her title, Miss New Hampshire USA 2025. Please welcome to this edition of The Oasis.
Thank you.
Okay, you're here. Do you hear the applause?
Yeah.
What's happening, man? People know who you are. Wave to the people. There you go. There you go. Now, please, you are new Miss New Hampshire for 2025.
Yes.
But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Brooklyn native.
Brooklyn. Which part?
I'm from Bed-Stuy.
Uh-oh. Look out.
Yes.
Land of Biggie Smalls.
Yes. And MonaLesa. Yes, so I'm born and raised in Bed-Stuy. My mom was a cosmetologist. My dad worked for the city. It was the three of us. We went to private school, high school. I got to go
Which
to
private school?
Oh, a bunch. I went to so many. I went to St. Teresa. I went to, Holy Name, Magic Kingdom.
So mostly,
many. Yeah.
You named Catholic schools.
Yeah, I
Which
went to Mount Pisgah. I think that might have been a Baptist school. I don't think they were Catholic, but
it was Christian.
Right. But for public school, high school, my mom let us decide. So I went to Boys and Girls.
Oh, all right. Right down the block.
Yep. Right on Fulton Street.
Yeah, right on Fulton Street. That was my roommate in college was the principal, Steve Jackson. But I know that was
Steve Jackson.
Yeah. That was just for a period.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he went to the greatest university on earth. You know which one that is?
Morgan State University.
Okay. So I'm assuming you went to Morgan.
I did, which is the greatest university.
What did you study at Morgan?
I studied telecommunications TV production.
Is that right?
That is right.
And then you went to grad school?
No, I went on and lived a full life. I lived in D.C., I lived in Atlanta, I pursued acting. Then when my mom passed, I came back to New York. And after the pandemic, I decided to go get a master's at LIU.
When you lived in D.C., did you live close to the greatest university in the world?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Because I was so far away from Morgan State.
So what got you into pageants?
So it's the craziest thing. I was in the hallway, just talking to, I was doing so many things. And someone came up to me, the young lady, I don't remember her name. And she said, Miss So-and-so said to give this to you. I have no idea the teacher's name that she said. And it was an envelope. And when I got home, I opened it. And it was an application to Miss New York Teen USA. And that's how I got started. I have no idea who saw it in me that I could do this. But I'm so grateful for them.
Well, how did you broach this with your mom and dad?
So when I saw it was $1,000 entry fee, I was like, I don't have $1,000. Like, we don't, what? But my mom was a cosmetologist. She had a beauty salon. And one of her clients, Quinn, she said, no, I really think that you should do it. I'll sponsor you. Just do it. So you had to pay $100. So I put my little money together. I paid the $100 to register. And then when they accepted me as a contestant, when Quinn came back to the salon, I said, hey, I'm registered. You said you would sponsor me. And she gave me $20. And she said, good luck. And I said, oh, my God.
Wait a minute.
I have to raise $880 now because she said she would sponsor me. She didn't say she would pay the whole thing. So, and that's what turned me into a money-raising machine.
We got to talk to Quinn. That wasn't right.
No, Quinn was a blessing. That was definitely right.
So that put you on your journey.
That put me on my journey. And had she not told me that she would sponsor me, I would have just said, oh, I don't have I don't have $1,000. I'm not going to do this. But because she said she would sponsor me, which she did sponsor me, she didn't designate an amount.
Okay.
So I get all amounts of sponsorships, $1,000, $100, $5, everything is a sponsorship and it all counts. But in my little 16-year-old mind, when she said, I'll sponsor you, I'm thinking, oh, she's going to pay this $1,000.
And in my little mind, I thought she was paying the whole $1,000 too.
Nope.
Now, how did and when did Islam enter the picture?
So I was raised in a Christian household, but I always say my mom was such a good Christian that she was a Muslim. She just didn't know it. So my godfather, Hassan, Muslim, and he would always, whenever he would come to the hair salon to pick up his daughters, he would drop little gems on me. He would tell me about how to eat to live, different things like that. And as I got older, Christianity just wasn't adding up to me. And I thought it was like, well, maybe I just don't believe in God. Like, this isn't, for me. But then I realized it wasn't God. It was just Christianity. And that's when I started studying different religions. And that's something I believe. A lot of times we just take on whatever religion was passed down to us from our parents. But your religion is not your nationality. It's your practice and your belief. So we really have to learn for ourselves. So I started looking into Islam. And once I started studying, and, I read the Bible first, and then I read the Quran. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And it just made so much sense to me. Islam was already how I lived my life. Just I needed to make a couple of tweaks. But I always say Islam is a very common sense, mind your business religion. And that's what I'm about. And it just worked out. So I would say like 2022 is when I really started on this journey. And I started wearing the hijab 2023.
So your first pageant, you were 16 or
So I did my application at 16, but by the time I came to compete, which was like Thanksgiving 2006, I was 17.
Mm-hmm. How did that work out?
I didn't know what I was doing. It was our first pageant. I'm a girl from Bed-Stuy, mom a cosmetologist, dad worked from the city. There was no one in my immediate area that did pageants. So we just went in there and, we looked and, I thought I, had put myself together well. But when I got to the pageant and I saw my dress versus the other girls, and my dress was beautiful. It just wasn't a teen pageant dress. It was more of a miss. My hairstyle, my makeup and everything. So I walked away with nothing. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was an amazing learning experience.
You said it wasn't teen pageant attire.
Right.
So what's the difference between the teen pageant and beyond?
Right. So we know a teen should look like they're a teen. So the dress will be more flowy, lighter colors. I had on a red fitted dress. It was like a kind of a mermaid. And I also wore my hair up in a bun. I looked beautiful, very stunning, but it just was not for a teen pageant. But once I learned, one of my mother's customers, she said, little Mona, she was in her own pageant, because I looked so different. I looked beautiful. I got, a lot of attention. Everyone told me I looked great, but it wasn't pageantry. Pageantry is something you have to learn. It's different from modeling. It's different from high fashion. Pageantry is its own world.
Okay, so as you sit here now, what advice, because, I want you to talk to our audience, what advice would you give to your 17, 18, 19-year-old self?
I wouldn't tell myself a thing because the journey that I went on through pageantry has been such a blessing. All of the losses, all of the coming close, the money raised, the hustle, the bustle, all of it really just made me who I am. So I wouldn't tell myself a thing. I enjoyed the process and I'm grateful for it.
Before we move on, I want to backtrack a bit and talk a little about your master's degree at LIU. Talk about that, because this was in the fine arts.
Yes, Master's of Fine Arts. So the thing is, because I already graduated from the best university in the world, Morgan State University.
I was confused as soon as you said that. My mind, because usually after the best
is Morgan State University.
Okay, I'm going to get...
So because I had already attended Morgan with a TV and film degree, when I got to LIU, I will say that the curriculum was more of just a refresher because my education from Morgan was so strong. So I got the refresher. I did some... I made some new connections and I was able to get an internship. And so it worked out really well. I entered into a couple of film festivals. I placed.
Wait, where were your internships?
Oh, I interned with Tracy Baker Simmons. So she's a producer that I met while I was working in Atlanta in TV and film. So when I started pursuing my master's degree, I reached out to her and, I let her know I need an internship, and she took me on as her intern.
And you started to do production work or
Creative development.
Behind the camera?
Behind the camera. Yeah. Creative development.
And how was that?
It was great. It was really, really great. I really did enjoy it. She offered me a position to work with her, but I wanted to work on some other things. So my line sister was looking for remote work, so I referred her, and they did really well together.
Line sister?
Yes.
Which one?
Which line sister?
No, which sorority?
Well, my brother, if you went to HU, then you can look at me and you know which sorority I'm a member of.
Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Of course. Sorority Incorporated.
But
you know these things, brother. You know these things.
Yeah. I could just look and see the whole.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take the beat up. Just okay. So, did you say incorporated? Did you?
Yes, incorporated. Actually, because you left that.
Put the music note to it. All right, so. Now you're in the world working, and you have entered into Islam as a revert.
Yes.
How's your studies going at that time?
My studies of TV.
Of Islam.
Of Islam is going really well. So
there's two things going on, and I want to make sure my question is understood. Because you're doing the master's, and you're interning, and you're also reverting.
So I was in that period, but I hadn't started to study yet. So the studying, I finished my master's May 2022. So by maybe like September, that's when I really started studying Islam. So it came like right after the other.
And how did that work? How did it impact your dean studying or being behind the scenes in film and television? So
the funniest thing, it's like God just stopped everything that was going on in my life, and so that I could just focus on Islam. So I decided not to take the position with Tracy because I had some other things that I was going to work on, but they didn't really come through the way that I thought that they would. And even my real estate business started to slow down. So I had all of this time for a year where I just devoted myself to studying Islam.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so when did the pageant come into play?
So in 2022, I also ended up getting COVID. So I love to travel. I love adventures, jumping out of planes, hiking up volcanoes, wild animal encounters, you name it. So in 2022, I went to Mexico. I ended up getting COVID. And during those 2 weeks of me being home, I thought of everything in my life, every mistake, every this, every that. And I really started regretting that I couldn't compete anymore, and that I didn't compete in my last year of eligibility. So then the next year, the eligibility, the cap was removed. But by then I was like, oh, I'm a hijabi, I can't compete. But then the following year I said, and why can't I?
What was the cap for Miss USA?
It was 28.
28. And how old were you at the time when you said, I'm going to do this again?
I was 35, but I would be 36 by the time of the competition, which I am now. So 35.
And then, so what provoked them to remove the cap? Do you know?
Well, the world is changing, and the world is more diverse. The world is more inclusive, and I feel like pageantry is opening up to match the rest of the world, because the competitor and title holder that I am at 36 is very different than who I was at 26. I have way more resources. When I was in my 20s and my teens competing, I needed the title and I needed the organization. But now at 36, I bring so much to the table, and I can offer the crown, the title, the community just as much, if not more, than what it offers me.
Wow. Powerful. What was the process?
Take us
back to the beginning. Yeah, getting ready.
Oh, my goodness.
You made the decision, and you're ready to rock.
Yes.
What do you do?
So I applied November 2024, and I submitted my best picture in a hijab, and I didn't hear from them. So I said, well, maybe they don't want me. And then out of nowhere, Ramadan kicks off, and they reach out to me and say, hey, we want you for the pageant. And I'm just like, I had an interview. They selected me. So now I really only have like 5 months to prepare. So I had already started being more healthy and losing weight, getting back in shape, because when my mom passed away, I thought I was handling it well, but I gained a lot of weight. So I started working to get the weight off. I started working with the pageant trainers. And once I started, it was like riding a bike. It just came back.
No, continue. But we want for our audience to know the process of becoming a part of the pageant. You made the decision you're going to go. You start getting yourself in shape, getting your mind right, spirit right. What's next? You filling out forms?
Money is, so in the Miss USA system, you have to have a lot of money to compete. In my opinion, some people would say that you wouldn't, but to compete at the level that I knew I needed to return at, I had to raise money. So in total, I raised $14,000 and I spent about $17,000. So now as Miss New Hampshire, I need to immediately raise $35,000, and we'll get into that. But yeah, so I raised the money. I started working with the trainers. I had to fly out of town to do my photo shoot with Carlos Velez and Ali Glam did my makeup. These are like some of the premier photography and glam people. So I had to work with them, working with the best pageant coaches, best fitness. I had 2 teams. A lot went into it. When you see one contestant on stage, you're not seeing her. Like, it's a whole team behind her. And they're expensive.
So you applied, put your team together.
Yes.
Okay. Once you apply, you have to be accepted.
No, you don't have to be accepted. So with any application, there's a selection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I understand. So there's a selection process.
Right.
How many people applied, do you know?
I don't know, but I believe initially it was 160 girls, and maybe by pageant weekend, maybe it was like 156, maybe a couple dropped, but it was about 160 girls that competed.
So it could have been 10,000 that applied. You just don't know. Yeah, but but it's for a select few, Okay, so 160 girls are there. What's next? Do you go to one place for a period of time?
So we had an orientation first, and that came maybe in July. And I thank God for my sister Fatima's Obsession on 116th Street. She gave me a beautiful dress for one of my looks for my photo shoot.
Let's get that plug again.
Yes.
Fatima's Obsession.
Yes. She gave me the dress for one dress for my photo shoot, the orange. And then for the orientation, she gave me a dress as well. So when I walked in, it was just like, just A1. She dressed me very well. So I did the orientation. We got to learn about the competition. And it changed so much from when I competed back when I was 17 and 19 years old. The world has changed so much. Like back when I was competing, it was like, these were the rules, you follow them, that's it. But now we have so many choices. We got to select our own roommates. You can make food requests, just a lot of different things. And I'm like, wow, this is nice. We didn't have that back in my day,
This is your day.
Right, but my original day.
Yeah.
This is my new day.
Wow, that's really amazing. So all the girls are together. How long are you together? And then what's that process? Is it a competition for a weekend?
So for the orientation, we stayed for the day and, just went over everything. Then there was a pageant coaching workshop that I took as well for, I believe it was walking and interview. And I ended up later working with that pageant coach, Miss Michelle Holmes. And so between the orientation and the actual pageant, I just did a lot of training. And even my friend Jenna Monet, she helped me with my walk, and I appreciate her so much. I wear her lip gloss. She has a cosmetic line. And so once you get to the pageant, my dad came with me because I need help. So he's lugging around a bunch of stuff for me, going back and forth. We register. I always try to come in the night before so that I'm not stressed. Some contestants come in the day of, but I can't have that in my life. I need to be there the day before so that I can chill. So we get to the pageant and then we check in and then the interviews start. So the first day, I had my interview. Then the second day is the preliminary competition where we have swimsuit and evening gown. And then the third day is the finals where we do swimsuit, evening, and on-stage question for the top 5.
How did you navigate the swimsuit competition?
I wore a burkini, and I was so fly up there. So many people thought, well, how are you going to wear a burkini? How will the judges know that you're fit? And my personal trainer that I was working with, Scott, we were in agreement. Like, listen, the way I stand, the way I walk, the way I talk, I have abs. Like, you can see in my shoulders, in my posture, everything. Like, I'm just as fit and lean and mean as the rest of the girls in their bikinis. And I let everyone know a burkini and modesty, it does not hide a lack of hard work. It hides beauty. So there's beauty under here. I'm just as good as the rest of the girls. I just choose not to show it.
How were you treated as a hijabi?
With so much love. I will say that my hijab, my modesty is definitely my armor. When I first started wearing a hijab, my father was concerned. He thought that like people might bother me because I'm already a Black woman, so dealing with racism now to deal with Islamophobia. But on the contrary, I have dealt with some racism, but for the most part, I experienced so much more love. I can walk down the street peacefully. Men are not catcalling me. It's like, I'm invisible. I'm never taking this hijab off. Like, this is the most freedom I've had since I was a little girl. I'm so free. I'm so peaceful. And people look at me and they see a Muslim and they see me for who I am, whereas before they would assume, like, people like, oh, she has an attitude. She's this or she's that.
No, this is great information, and your presentation as well. A hijabi competing for Miss New York State.
Mm-hmm. Miss New York USA. So when
New York USA.
Yes, when I first came into started the process, I didn't know that there had been other hijabis.
There had been other
Yes,
hijabis?
there had been. So in Minnesota, there was a sister named, I can't call her name right now.
No, it's okay.
But she was top 10 in Minnesota and she became a supermodel. Oh, Halima. Yeah, there we go. Halima. And then for Miss New York, there was a Mariam. Mm-hmm. And she made it to the top 20. But and there was some others who competed in, I believe, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, but they didn't place. So I'm the first one to go the furthest.
And the first one in New York State?
There was one who competed twice. So I believe that I'm the first Black American. The sister who competed in New York previously, I believe she was Puerto Rican and Lebanese. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was love.
All love, all support. The love of modesty is something that just can't be described. It's so safe. And it's so like people see me for who I am. Like I was already this person, but now people see me and expect it.
How did you feel when they called your name?
Which time?
First runner-up.
Second runner-up?
Yes.
I was shocked. I thought I was going to win if I'm being honest. I was definitely shocked, but still nonetheless grateful because I made it further than anyone else like me had. And so it was clear that hijab, burkini, modesty, we're just as good. We're equally qualified. And just because we cover doesn't mean we don't deserve the opportunity. So I feel like even though I didn't win the crown, I still did the job that I came to do.
And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's why I'm so happy that you're here, because I was just amazed by the fact that you even competed and then you got to that level. Now, how do we get from New York to New Hampshire?
Okay, so this is the thing and how I trust God so much. So as you know, I aged out initially and then the age cap was removed. So when I competed at Miss New York and I placed second runner up, I thought that was the end of me for this year as far as going to Miss USA. But there were some delays with 8 other states, so they didn't get to produce a pageant. And in order for Miss USA to go to Miss Universe, the Miss USA pageant has to take place prior to Miss Universe. So 8 states had to do an open call, and about 250 women applied. And from that, I applied to New Hampshire because it's my close neighboring state of the ones that were available. And their national bird, the purple finch, it reminds me of my mom because her favorite color is red. So the bird is called a purple finch, but it has like a lot of red. So I selected New Hampshire. I applied. I got a lot of buzz, like out of nowhere. All of the pageant pages were supporting me. Everyone was sharing me. And it comes to find out, they were very impressed with me, and I got the call Friday, which right now at present is a secret. But
and what was that process? 'Cause, I know there's not many Muslims in New Hampshire.
So I checked with me doing my research, learning about the state. It's 1% Muslim, and it's also 1% Black. So they need me. New Hampshire needs me.
I tell you, Morgan sure gave you a lot of chutzpah. That's wonderful. So what was the selection process? I'm curious.
So I had to do an application as well as submit a 90-second video. And so from that, I was selected.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Now, you do a lot of charity work.
I do. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of it.
So as a Muslim, we keep our charity private, but now as a title holder, I have to share because I have to let people know that I'm someone that they can get behind. I'm someone who does do the work. So yes.
One that really pricks my conscience and mind is Real Estate Fairy.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So when I was heavily involved in TV and film, specifically when I was in Atlanta, so I'm like a triple threat. I can do behind the scenes, I write, and I act. So my goal was to make enough money to create housing for homeless people because I saw this video of this guy years ago when I was a little girl, and it really touched me, and I really wanted to help the homeless. So when my mom passed, I stopped doing the acting, but I found out that a lot of people with housing vouchers are homeless, and they're heavily discriminated against. So when I got my...
It's because they have the vouchers and there's not enough housing available?
No, there's housing available. So there's a lot of discrimination that goes on. So maybe realtors won't want to work with them. They'll give them the runaround. Landlords may not want to work with them. Other tenants may not want to live near them. There's a stigma that if someone isn't paying their own rent and they have help from the government, then they'll be a ruckus. Like they'll destroy the apartment. They'll bring down the value. All of these crazy things that are just not true, because the fact of the matter is, one fire, one flood, one good scammer to take everything we have, we could all be homeless. So you're not a bad person just because you ended up homeless or had to have a housing voucher. So when I saw that this demographic was being discriminated against, I decided when I got my real estate license that I would make this my niche and I would dedicate myself to helping them. And it went really well.
So your primary real estate is in Brooklyn?
Yeah, so I have a license in New Jersey and New York, but I've done leasings in New York, in Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem, Bronx.
So all over the
New York City
area and New Jersey.
So I haven't done any. I was working with a landlord who asked me to get a New Jersey license, and then it didn't. What he had working on didn't go through, but I do have that license.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What about your financial literacy workshops, please?
So during COVID, I invested a lot of money in the stock market, and I was doing so well. Like I had money for my children, everything, right? Then, focusing on grad school in my last semester with the internship, productions, everything, I stopped paying attention to the stock market, and I ended up losing in a lot of places and breaking even. So based on my experience, if I had more knowledge, I could have done better because I'm the first trader and things like that in my family. So I didn't have an uncle or a mom or anyone to teach me, how things work. So I said, if I can start teaching these underserved Black, brown children how money works and how to grow their money, then, they can find out this information is not being passed down in their home like it is for some children from other demographics. So we can kind of even out the playing field. And so what we do is through my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, we got some initiatives passed down. And I saw that the program that I had in mind, Wealth First, fit into it. So I pitched it to the program chair. She pitched it to the chapter. They agreed. I was asked to chair it. And that's how I started this program. And we have partnerships with State Farm, Doc's Cake Shop, the Brooklyn Nets, Pillar to Post. We bring out a lot of professionals. And it's important. I'm all about representation mattering. So we bring out a lot of Black and brown people to teach these children these things so that they can see someone who comes from a demographic like them has made it to this level of success, and they can do it too.
How do the AKs feel about your success as a hijabi competing?
They're very supportive of me. I sold 3 journal ads for Miss New York. One was from my sponsor, State Farm. My other sponsor, Popeyes, Harlem, New York franchise. And let me be specific. The State Farm that sponsored me is State Farm Allen Wheeler Agency. And my 3rd ad was from my local chapter, Delta Rho Omega.
What's next for you?
What is next for me? Well, definitely I intend to win Miss USA, and I will be the first Miss New Hampshire to win the title. So I will be the first Miss New Hampshire to win, the first hijabi on the stage, and the first hijabi to win, and also do as much community service as I can. Now that I have this title, I don't want to just run off to USA and perform because it is a title of service. So even though I only have a short little window, I want to do as much service as I can.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, because what we try to do here at the Oasis is show that our people, our community, our Ummah has such a diverse community. We're doing so many great things.
Yes.
Because I'm personally tired of seeing the terrorists on the movie.
Yes.
That always represents the Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
We have Muslim doctors. We have Muslim comedians. We have Muslims competing in the Miss USA pageant.
Yes.
And to see you, and I hope everyone watches her. What's it? October 25th?
24th.
October 24th. So everyone should tune in so we can all share in this moment and be proud because you represent us so well.
Thank you.
You know.
Thank you.
What message do you want to give to young Muslim women?
That you can. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about Islam and Muslim women specifically, saying we're oppressed, we don't have rights. And I talked about this in Pageantry. You know, I had the most journal ads sold, right? And I had the biggest sponsors. So it's no way you can look at me in this space and say that Muslim women are unsupported because gauging from just what I saw, I can't speak for the other contestants, but I was, you know, heavily supported. And I think we just need to be out there and be visible. That's why I always say representation matters, because the bottom line is when people don't see something and when they don't know about it, they make things up. And that's how now we're terrorists. Because we're quiet and we're minding our business, we're oppressed. I'm not oppressed. I can speak if I want to. You know, I'm just picking and choosing. And as Muslims, we're peaceful people. So we're not loud. We're not trying to prove ourselves and things like that. So to someone who doesn't know us, they'll say, oh, the Muslim women are oppressed, or they have to cover their hair. I cover my hair because I want to. I have friends who don't wear hijab. I have friends who wear it sometimes. Sometimes I wear mine because it allows me to be peaceful. I have nightmares sometimes that I went outside and I forgot to put on my hijab. So yeah, I think the young sister should just step up. And there's a young sister from Philly. She's I've been helping her out, mentoring her. I think she's 23 and she's entering pageantry now. She's competing and she was doing the Miss USA system, but based on her style and her look and what she stands for, I told her she should go to the Miss America system, and we're working on that now.
Alhamdulillah. So you're playing it forward.
Yes, because we need that. I had a lot of mentors. And so whoever I can help, I'm big on mentorship. I'm big on each one, teach one. And even though one day I plan, inshallah, to have my own daughter, but I feel like I've had so many daughters because I've been a mentor to so many young girls. And that's what it's about. If God blessed me with all of this knowledge and even all of my mistakes, if I can save some of these girls from making mistakes, I'll definitely help them.
Before we go, you know, there's been a shift to be more inclusive to women over 30. How do you think that has impacted the pageant experience?
I think it has heavily impacted it, and it made the pageant world open up. So I'm 36, and I believe in that top 5, I was probably the oldest. And I think that's just a beautiful thing because though I was the oldest, I've taken care of myself and I didn't look, I wasn't out of place. And I think women are waiting for things now. More women are having children in their 40s. And we're just doing so much more. And it just proves life doesn't stop. So even with me competing as a hijabi, like everyone, some people are focused on the fact that I'm a hijabi, but I feel like I'm the people's champ. I represent everyone, if they're diverse, if they're unique, over 30, whatever you are. Because now in pageantry, before you couldn't compete if you'd been married or if you had children. So with the age opening up, if women are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, it's more than likely possible that they've had children, that they've been married before. So when you open
filled with experience.
Right. So when you open up the age, now you open it up to even more demographics of women. And it just lets us know that you have time. Like my mom told me, because she was an entrepreneur and what I was working on, bills and everything, and things were starting off slow. And she let me know one day, she said, you can have everything you want out of life as long as you don't start that biological clock nonsense. Mm-hmm. So as long as you don't, you can have everything. But what I will say, from my mom passing away from cancer, I did have to do some genetic testing. And I found out that I have a genetic mutation for cancer. So the doctors now, they want me to have my children before 40. So with me getting this opportunity to compete for Miss USA this year, I can start family planning a little sooner, because before I was like, listen, I will wait until, but we have those options now. No one is looking at a woman that's not married or doesn't have children as if she's broken. Some people might, but they're a little crazy. But for the most part, it's very normal. So I think pageantry has just really expanded to the reality of women and of the world right now.
Before we go, one last question. What has pageantry taught you about confidence, self-esteem, just those parallel kind of ideas?
It's to maintain healthy environments. So I've received so much love and support in the pageantry world from the other contestants. They supported me so much to the point. So it was just like, well, are you competing? Like, did you come here to win? Like, you're literally telling me I'm going to win. I'm your favorite, this, that, and the third, right? And so what I've learned, in healthy environments, you can excel. But I've been in environments where if I'm excelling, if I'm doing well, then I become a problem. And it's like, I haven't done anything to you, right? So being in pageantry is so healthy. And people will think, oh, are there mean girls in pageantry? But the thing about it is, a pageant girl is top-notch creme de la creme. She's in shape. She's beautiful. She's serving the community. She's well accomplished. She's all of these things. So in actuality, she doesn't have a reason to be mean. So a pageant girl generally is not going to be mean to you. So when I'm in the healthy environments of pageantry, I receive so much love. So it reminds me that if I'm somewhere else and I'm not receiving love and I'm the same person over here that I am over here, then I need to move over and, be where it's healthy at. So it just reminds me how to stay grounded in the type of environments I need to be in.
How does your dean impact pageantry?
So I will say, with my roommate, I let her know, I'm like, listen, early in the morning, you'll be sleeping. You see me standing over you. I'm not working some kind of magic spell. Like I'm praying, So, and I think it's a blessing to have everyone see my discipline, like my roommate staying with me, for her to see me making my prayers, for the other contestants to see that certain things I cannot eat. Like over pageant weekend, I wanted to bring tuna fish with me, but someone had mentioned, like, it was a girl previously who brung like cans of tuna and it was like stinking up the room. So I'm like, oh boy, I have to just eat what they have. But certain chicken and things I couldn't eat. So I was like living off of hummus wraps. But the discipline that they saw me have. And then one day when I was just like, God, I'm not going to make it. I got to eat a piece of this chicken. I'm getting weak. She just randomly pulled an egg out of her pocketbook. And I was like, can I please have that egg? Because I need, something. So I think it's a blessing for people to see Muslims, to see our discipline, how strict we are with our religion, those of us who are practicing, because some may not be strict and that's fine. But I think it's important for people to see that I'm not a terrorist. I don't have a bomb under my hijab. I'm not oppressed. Like, I'm a normal person.
With Islam.
With Islam, yes.
Listen, MonaLesa Brackett, I wish you nothing but success. I'm so proud of you. I am just overwhelmed by your beauty, by your spirit, by your confidence, by everything that you represent. I wish you nothing but success. And today, I realized that Morgan University
Morgan State University.
Morgan State University is actually one of the greatest HBCUs in the world. Excuse me.
I know you think it's Howard, but if you do a little research, it's Morgan State.
Thank you so much for coming on the Oasis, and I wish you nothing but success. I'll be tuning in. You'll be tuning in on October 5th. I want everybody to be in front of their televisions with popcorn and all the other halal products, supporting our sister, because we need to see you in this light. So I want you to win.
Thank you.
And, you know,
I want to win too.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So thank you for coming. I really appreciate this. Thank you for taking time. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And please watch our sister, MonaLesa Brackett, on the Miss USA pageant, October 24th, on your whatever station or Hulu or platform you watch. But just make sure you watch. October 24th, watch our sister compete as Miss New Hampshire. Again, I'm so proud of you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Assalamu alaikum.